Have you ever been watching a cartoon, an anime, or a series and felt a deep connection with one of the characters? Perhaps it's because of their humorous personality, good design, or maybe they remind you of someone you know or even yourself. Chances are you have. Studies show that forming emotional bonds with fictional characters is quite common. These characters often become a source of comfort and inspiration and provide a temporary escape from the challenges of reality, or simply make you smile during the tough times. Some people go even further with this connection, developing a romantical attraction to the character, what many call a fictional crush or more commonly a waifu. And not surprisingly, this isn't uncommon for people to develop an emotional attachment that goes behind just liking the character, especially if those people are introverts. But there is no problem in that. I mean, it's kinda weird and it can develop unhealthy lifestyles, but at the end of the day, no one gets hurt, you know? The problem really starts when the character to whom these individuals are attracted is underage. While it's natural for people to feel drawn to fictional characters for various reasons, when those characters are portrayed as minors, it introduces a potentially harmful dynamic that can lead to unfortunate accidents in real life. Elected as the most hated artist within the amphibia community, Admiral TD8 is a controversial YouTuber among the fandom who began his journey in DeviantArt. After 3 long years primarily dedicated to making fan art of Sonic, he shifted his focus away from the Blue Hedgehog and onto another emerging animated series, The Loud House. Remarkably, he was able to replicate the show's style in his fan art, which gained some attention. However, this loud house phase was short lived, as he soon transitioned to yet another show, Amphibia. His first post about Amphibia introduced these two original characters, Daryl and Tint the Salamander, though the focus here will be on Daryl. He immersed himself in the show's world by constantly putting his characters into real scenes of the actual show. Initially, this approach seemed harmless, until he began posting increasingly bizarre fan art. Some of his creations showed his OC, Daryl, in a romantic relationship with Anne, and suggested that Sasha was Daryl's jealous ex. In an even more weirder twist, he would later post fan art that illustrated Anne's pregnancy and even suggesting that Anne had given birth to Daryl's child. But the situation would escalate even more when Admiral TD8, which his real name is Daryl Timmerman, began sharing photos of himself on Instagram. Upon closer looks, it became apparent that his OC Daryl was an obvious self insert representing the 29-year-old man. Thus, in his fantasy version of the Amphibia universe, he had a child with Anne, who is only 13 years old in the show, and I think it's unnecessary to elaborate on the weirdness here. Notably, he also shared on his YouTube channel these peculiar fan arts and animations. One of his animated videos featured his self insert character, Daryl, marrying Anne, further raising eyebrows within the amphibia community. Predictably, the amphibia community started to hate on him, with many creating videos talking about his delusions and expressing their hate towards Admiral TD8. But despite the huge criticism he received, Admiral TD8 remained posting his fan art across all his social media to this day, even though most of them get negative comments. In November 18, 1998, the show Powerpuff Girls would premiere on Cartoon Network and soon became one of the most popular cartoons of the channel at the time. The show had all it needed to be popular: action, explosions, and three young girls beating the shit out of bad guys. The show had such a huge success that over the years it had 6 whole seasons with 78 episodes and a movie, and all of this would continue until 2005, where the series took an end. But sadly for the Powerpuff Girls, Cartoon Network decided to milk their grave by creating one of the worst reboots of all time, the 2016 Powerpuff Girls. This reboot was heavily criticized for various reasons: getting rid of fan favorite characters, poor writing and storytelling, and some controversial scenes like the one where the Powerpuff Girls start working for some reason. And these bad changes were due to the change of the voice actors and most of the writers of the original 1998 show. And one of these new writers was Jake Goldman, who most of you don't know, and the ones who know it's for the worst reason. Jake Goldman assumed the role as one of the primary writers for the show's reboot. Notably, he introduced a character named Jared Shapiro, who served as a self-insert of Jake himself. This character's storyline took a controversial turn, putting him as the main love interest for Blossom, one of the Powerpuff Girls. And I will say again that all three of the Powerpuff Girls are portrayed as 5-year-olds. Adding an additional layer to this controversy, Jake Goldman voiced the character himself. Over the course of the show, the Jared Shapiro character was featured in a total of 15 episodes. In the majority of these episodes, his role revolved around either flirting with Blossom or highlighting her romantical feelings towards him. Cartoon Network would debunk these claims, saying that the character Jared Shapiro was created by the writer Haley Massini, but they didn't clarify why Jake Goldman was the one chosen to voice over the character. I personally don't buy this, and a lot of people in the community don't buy this as well, but let me know in the comments what you think.
Jake, who's your Powerpuff Girl?
I'm gonna say Blossom 100%. Oh no, easily because I think just her energy. I'm always kind of like thinking like that. I'm always like everything needs to be just be like laid out.
Liam Hates South Park is a TikTok account solely dedicated to shipping his original character, which is likely a self-insert, with the underage character Kyle from South Park. Although it's referred to as a TikTok account, it's worth noting that he apparently manages two active accounts, as well as a third one that seems to be banned, since it's nowhere to be found anymore. As for the content of his two active accounts, much of it has been deleted, likely due to the backlash he received. However, by searching for a specific tag on TikTok, which some users created to protest against Liam, we can uncover some of the content that used to be available on his TikTok pages. The content would revolve around topics like Gacha Heat and South Park Heat, terms frequently used by users within these communities to describe content that isn't family friendly. It's worth noting that such content is generally hated by many other members, given that the Gacha Life community primarily consists of children and teenagers. Liam quickly took things a step further. He posted a TikTok video in which his original character appeared to be R-wording Kyle. The content was surprisingly graphic for a drawing, and this particular post earned Liam a reputation for all the wrong reasons. Despite the controversy surrounding this infamous post, he continued to create and share similar content featuring Kyle, delving into increasingly bizarre and unsettling scenarios. Normally, many people tend to respond to hate by taking a break of social media or making an apology, but guess how Liam would respond to his haters? By making several videos in Gacha Life where his OC would kill a character similar to Jesus. Needless to say, this would cause even more backlash to him, and I think people ended up mass reporting all of his accounts, causing him to private most of his videos. Since I'm showing his account here, I hope no one that is watching will go on to harass Liam, because most likely he's underage, as you may have noticed through the cringe Gacha Life posts I showed you, and most likely he's doing this for attention. But still, I'm calling him out as Kyle from South Park is portrayed as a 10-year-old, and I think it's wrong to post graphic content about a character in your TikTok, because it can pass a message to younger people that this is okay when it's clearly not. I forgot to mention at the start of the video to not go harass any of these people that I showed here today. I think everyone that watches me is mature enough to know that, but I think it would still be important to mention. Anyways, I hope you liked the video, and I hope to see you very soon.